You can only follow your path. In life, as men, we feel tempted to join so many different organizations, religions. Even if you are a red pill man or a midtown man, sometimes, well, not sometimes, almost all of the time, all of us experience this desire to do things the way we feel other people believe are right, the way everyone else in this sort of group or even just philosophy feels they want to do things, feels they need to do things. We feel, it would be easier to do things the way everyone else does, the way that's already been proven that works, the path of least resistance, right? Versus really diving inwards and saying, what do I want? And literally doing exactly what you want, regardless of the consequences, right? Sometimes that's a lot scarier than doing what other people have just comfortably done and following, the beaten path to get some of what you want, right? So you can say you've done something, but it's not really 100% of what you imagined in your mind, right? And the moral of this video, or the lesson of this video, is that you should absolutely follow your path down to a T. Every man has his own individual journey, his own individual path. No man really dreams of being a follower and following someone else's formula 100%, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have free will. You wouldn't have an imagination. If you were meant to do exactly what someone before you did, or exactly what someone is telling you to do, regardless of if they believe in what you believe in or not, you wouldn't be an individual, right? Always remember that you're an individual. You have your own dreams, your own imagination, your own free will. And you were meant to do exactly what you believe you were meant to do, right? Nothing less, no compromise, no settling. So you have to remember, right? If you want that true fulfillment internally, that true satisfaction, that true feeling of accomplishment, that only comes from walking into the darkness, right? And not knowing how it's going to turn out, but knowing that you're doing exactly what you want to do. No compromise, no playing it safe. You're doing what you truly feel is your purpose, right? Now, there is no grand purpose in life, so to speak. And it's weird because it's almost like a paradox. It's sort of a duality. It's like, in life there is no purpose, but at the same time you do have your own purpose. You do have your own every man has deep in him, if he really dives into himself, he has this burning desire to do something. Something is pulling him in a certain direction, and he doesn't even know why he wants to do this, but he wants to do that. That is your purpose, not what people tell you is the more responsible thing to do or the safer bet. Whatever is just pulling you in a certain direction, and no matter how much you resist it, you're just being pulled in that direction. That's what you were meant to do, right? And I'm talking like pulled emotionally, like, let's pretend it's a guy who likes to ride motorcycles, and all of his friends and family are like, oh, well, it's too dangerous, you should just, you should go to college and become an accountant or some shit, right? But every second of every day he has this itch. He's like, man, if I don't jump on that fucking motorcycle, I'm going to lose my mind. This is just what has to happen. That is your fucking purpose. Now, that's kind of a out there example, but that's irrelevant. It's all about doing what you truly feel is your own individual path, your own individual purpose. And it's really weird how it's bizarre, because it's like no one really cares if you do it or not. But at the same time, if you do, you feel like you're living so much more. And don't do it because you want a reaction out of other people, or you finally want to be acknowledged, right? Because you're never really going to get that acknowledgement that you think you want. And even when you do, you're going to get like a lot less of it than you thought you would. And it's not going to be as fulfilling as just doing it because you love it and looking back and being like, yo, I really did what I want to do. And then when you're on your deathbed, you're like, all right, I'm ready. I did what I had to do. That's really the best you can hope for. So that's just the moral of this video, is every man has his own individual path. And no man has the right to tell any other man, no, your path is stupid, do this instead. Because that emotional part of you that desires to follow this path, it doesn't understand the logic that people are throwing at you to do something different. And even if you bury it and just do what other people tell you to do, it's always going to just keep eating away at you, and eventually it'll burst out. And that's what happens when a lot of dudes have like a midlife crisis. They buried it for so long, and then around age 45, it just boom. You thought you killed it off, and it shoots right back out of you, and it's like, nah, bitch, I'm still here, and you never did what you were supposed to do. And then they go crazy and they buy a Corvette and they start like doing all kinds of crazy shit. But you avoid that midlife crisis by just doing what you feel you're here to do, right? And not because you want to be the big man, or you want recognition, or you want to fill some emotional void, some love you never got, and you think once you accomplish this task, you're going to get that love, because you're not. You're just doing it because you have a burning desire to do it, and no other reason. It's not even a logical thing. It's an emotional path and purpose. And you got to understand, right? As humans, we're emotional creatures. We're not nearly as logical as we think we are. We make logical decisions hoping to get emotional satisfaction, So everything comes down to an emotion at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that you're following your path so that you truly satisfy yourself emotionally, and don't feel like you lived for other people and you lived a compromised life. So that's just the message, man. Every man has his own path.